guys, welcome to a new episode of Beauty Beacons. Today we are going to talk about Juliette Récamier. Madame Récamier was a Parisian socialite in the early 19th century and one of the biggest beauty icons of neoclassicism. Juliette was born to a noble family. Her father was the king's counselor, so she had a good social circle from the beginning. Now, at age 15, Juliette got married to Mr. Récamier, who was 30 years older than she was, and it was actually rumored that Mr. Récamier was an old lover of Juliette's mother, and that Juliette was actually his daughter, and that this was the way that they tried to ensure that Juliette would inherit his wealth and property if he were to pass away. You see, all of this happened at the height of the French Revolution, so there was a good possibility of him actually dying by the guillotine, which was, very happily employed at the time. Now, this is a theory that historians and biographers do not agree on, whether it is true or not. What we do know is that the marriage was never consummated, but of course there may be other explanations for that. Anyways, Juliette married Mr. Récamier and she started a salon in Paris. And her salon was greatly visited by very influential and popular figures of the time, literary figures, politicians again, and just loads of learned people. And hers is said to have been one of the best salons of Paris at the time. Now, because her salon was often visited by royalists, and again this was during the French Revolution, and because of her own sentiments that she expressed against Napoleon, she was exiled in the end. Now, probably through these same reasons, Juliette's husband lost nearly all of his money in the early 19th century, and there was actually a prospect that Juliette would be able to marry Prince Augustus of Prussia. He asked her to marry him and she accepted, but for some reason the marriage never went through. And after Napoleon was defeated, she ended up returning to Paris and opening up her salon again, which was again very well visited, even though it was much more modest because she, had very little funds left. So she ended up passing away at age 71, and by that time she had stolen the hearts of many a man and firmly established herself as a beauty beacon. So today I'm going to try and recreate her iconic look. Now, honestly, one of the reasons that I chose Juliette Récamier as a beauty beacon today is that we actually have a bust of her, and I'm always so excited when beauty beacons have a bust made of them, because that means 360 degrees view of the hairstyle. So we can actually see what it looked like from all angles, which is perfection. Anyways, I'm gonna start with the makeup as always. So for that, I'm gonna start with a layer of foundation just to even out my skin tone. I am referencing a painting of her for this, so obviously it's gonna look a little bit more flawless than it probably did in real life. So I'm gonna try and emulate that look by just blurring out my skin with a nice foundation and a little bit of under eye concealer. I'm using two colors here. We're in between seasons now and I'm kind of in between colors. It always happens. So when my skin looks nice and even, I'm going to take this cheek and lip stain by Benefit and I'm going to use this to create my blush. So I'm just dotting a few little drops of this onto my cheek and then blending it out, and I'm going to keep layering this until I get the desired color intensity. And I'm going pretty heavy with this. Blusher is something that has been worn throughout all the ages, and you can especially see it well on paintings usually. So when I'm happy with the blush, I'm going to take a translucent face powder and just powder off my face to mattify everything and set the foundation and the base in place. And then it's time to move on to the eyebrows. So I'm going to keep them pretty natural, but I am going to make sure they look nice and groomed and kind of dark. Juliette had very beautiful dark hair. So I am just going to use a tinted brow gel to comb my eyebrows into place and make sure they look nice and groomed. And then for my eyes, I am only going to use a tiny little layer of mascara on my top lashes only, and that's going to be the only thing I'm going to do. Now, to finish this makeup, all that's left to do is to take a little bit of that cheek and lip stain again and apply it to my lips this time. Again, I'm going to go in a few layers. And this is going to give that really beautiful kind of flushed natural look. And there's the makeup already done. Super basic, beautiful, kind of historically appropriate, I'd say. No makeup. So let's move on to the hair, the part that I'm really excited about. Now, in the various paintings that are made of her, Juliette wears these beautiful neoclassicist hairstyles that are absolutely gorgeous. But like I mentioned, I'm gonna recreate the one that is on the bust because I can see it from all angles. So to start, I'm going to curl my hair. Now, something that is very typical of this kind of style of hairdressing is the little curls around the hairline. So I'm gonna start by creating those just to be sure that they are really nice and tight. So I'm gonna spray my hair with heat protectant first. And when it has dried, I'm going to separate out a very thin kind of strip of hair around the front of my face. And now I'm going to take super tiny sections and curl these with the smallest curling iron I have. And whenever I've finished a curl, I am going to pinch it and pin it to my head to cool down in this very tightly curled shape. So I'm going to do that all around the front of my face, and then I am going to take the back of my hair and do pretty much the same thing. So I'm just going to separate out a thin layer of hair right around the edge of my hairline in the back, and again curl these little pieces of hair and clip them up to cool down. So when that is done, the rest of my hair I'm just going to curl normally. So I'm going to go in small sections and just release my curl after holding it for a few seconds and not touch it until it's completely cooled down. So when I have curled all of my hair, it's going to look something like this. I have given it a few minutes to cool down just so that these curls are nice and tight. And then I'm going to remove the bobby pins from the front and kind of back curls. Then next I'm going to rake through these curls with my hands, just very gently to kind of break them apart, soften them up a little bit. And now it's time to start working on the actual hairstyle. So first thing I'm going to do is pull all of my hair back into a kind of ponytail, and I'm just going to use one of these clips to hold it in the back. And now the first thing I'm going to do is add a ribbon across the back of my head. You can see that she's wearing some type of lacy material in the back of her head in the statue with the bust, so I'm going to do the same thing as well. I'm going to just place this approximately where she has it and then pin it down with some bobby pins. And then I'm going to go back to the back of my hair, release that clip, and I'm going to give my hair a little twist and then just pull it up as high as it'll go. I noticed when I tried to do this that my hair is a little bit shorter than hers would have been because it doesn't reach as far towards my forehead as hers does, but I'm just gonna have to work with what I have. If your hair is a little bit longer, you're lucky here. So as far as it'll go, and then I'm going to take this decorative comb. Now hers would have looked completely different. This is not in line with the neoclassical style at all, but it's the only decorative comb I have, I'm afraid, so I'm gonna have to work with this. If you need to give this a little bit more holding power, then you can insert a few bobby pins from the sides and kind of reinforce that comb so that it's a little bit stronger. The next thing I'm going to do is take a scarf, and I'm going to fold this so that it's a nice kind of wide strip, and then I'm going to wrap around my head as well. And now I'm going to make sure those little curls in the front are sticking out from the front. Now on the bust, this is where I feel like the artist took a little bit of artistic freedom in depicting the hairstyle, because it looks like the fabric part is just kind of wrapped and there's nothing holding it down, so that's not realistic. I'm going to have to at least wrap these ends around each other once for this to hold. I ended up having to use a few bobby pins in there as well to really hold it down, because otherwise it would just kind of slip off my head. So whatever you need to do to fasten this in the back, just go ahead and do it. So then I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to these curls that are sticking out on top. Again, her hair is a little bit longer, so she has these nice, beautiful kind of curls cascading down the front. I don't have that, but I'm still going to try and make these look as cute as possible. So I'm just going to take a few individual curls, kind of twirl them around my fingers, try and reshape them into slightly bigger, more uniform curls. Then I'm just going to make sure that not too much hair is sticking out in the front underneath the scarf, and just kind of, you know, fiddle around with it until it looks nice. So there's the hairstyle all done, and there is your Juliette Récamier look all done as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Beauty Beacons, guys. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for loads more beauty and lifestyle content. If you have any requests for historical beauty icons, real or fictional, that you would like me to recreate the looks of, please feel free to leave a comment down below. There is another video here that you may also enjoy, you can go watch next. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, there's a link in the description box below. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching as well, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!